Hey Reflections, how are you? We're going to give it some time for people to come in. IG's just making me do all these things all over again. There we go. So we're going to give it some time for people to come in. I'm going to be doing the collective reading for all the signs for this new moon in Aries. So welcome, get comfortable. Make sure you have like some water or some tea, or if you like to indulge in other things, that ain't my business, but go ahead and enjoy, right? Please share the videos with others as we prepare ourselves to get ready for this amazing energy. Peace, goddess, peace. Amazing by design. Look at that. I was just talking about being amazing. Look at yes, you are, for sure. And I just said, right, like, welcome my reflections, right? So there you go. It's definitely going to be an amazing time up in here. I'm going to do a few different types of channels because I'm going to be honest, as I was sitting here preparing, I'm just shuffling some cards right now. So I'm more than likely going to just do some intuitive channeling as well without the cards. I usually just have like one or two, maybe a few decks at most around me. There's quite a few decks around me, so I was just picking up a lot of different energies. Therefore, there's going to be a lot of different messages that's going to be coming through. So I'm just going to allow this space. I did get some crystal messages also that I felt like, I don't know who needs to hear, but I guess, and they were so different. So I will say that take what resonates for you, and leave behind what doesn't fly, because I'm going to be channeling the collective energy and channeling those of you that are holding space with us here. The messages can be very different. This is not a personal reading. So I'm just putting that out there. I'm not responsible for what you do with this information and moving forward in your life. What you do with the information, what you do with the reading is out of your free will. However, I always say, practice your discernment, use your intuition, really channel the God within you, the goddess within you, and tap into the truth of your being. Even if you don't necessarily like the message, but Spirit is talking to you, then allow, right? Because a lot of the times we just want to hear validation or confirmations, and sometimes that's not the way the cookie crumbles, So I'm just here to be a messenger, the divine messenger. So like the saying goes, don't shoot the messenger, because I'm going to have just a whole bunch of trillion, thousands, quadruple, infinite Neos all around me, rebuking them bullets out, right? Because that ain't none of my business, right? You and your matrix is how you live your life, right? But anyway, please, yes. Share this video, share this live with at least 3 other people that you feel may need to hear any messages that's going to come through. Sharing is caring. It's absolutely free. And it also allows for the collective to receive other messages that may have been bypassed. And then I'm just going to get comfortable really fast. There we go. All right, so I am going to do a collective card energy first to start off, and then I'm going to be getting into the zodiacs. What I will say before getting into all of those, hello, welcome. Before getting into all of those, one of the biggest messages I was getting was that this is a time to go. This is a time of action, but definitely a time to ground yourself, because there is going to be a lot of, for some people it's distractions. For other people, it's not necessarily distractions. It's just a lot of things going on. I feel like there's a lot of chaos magic that's going on during this time. It feels like, it feels like some that is intentional, and it feels like some that is just completely not intentional. It could just be a whole bunch of like newbies really just putting on their magic, and it's a lot of chaos magic going out there. So that's one of the first messages. I have to be very, very, very honest. And it's no shade to like anybody that's new in the practice. We all got to start somewhere, right? And I've been there, done that, like, but that's why I said like some is intentional and some is not intentional, because the way that I see it, which is why it's not going to be a distraction for everyone, is that some intentions that are being put out there aren't completely directed, and so the direction of the energy is sporadic. Also, what I see with that is that there's going to be a lot of unexpected events that's going to be coming into play, and so that's why it's very important to be grounded during this time. I'm already getting hot. Ooh-wee. Okay, give me a moment. So really allow yourself to see how your energy is flowing. For some of you, not a lot of you, for some of you, you are being asked to like rest and rejuvenate. I don't think that's going to be long. That just might be for like 2 days or a day or something like that. And that has a lot to do with the level of work that you're having to do, but also needing to refresh yourself and rejuvenate yourself so that you can continue to do on the work. What I'm feeling for the most part of the collective is a lot of heightened energies. I see a lot of opportunities that's going to be presenting itself, and I see a lot of love that is going to be presenting itself. However, I also see a lot of need to again, I know I said it already like 3 times, but to ground, because your emotional intelligence is going to have to be a must during this time. And when I say emotional intelligence, is really balancing your emotions and your mind. Yes, that saying, I have this saying, I love to say it, and I also seen, I think a meme either yesterday or today about it. And I'm like, that's funny because I say that all the time. And it's like, don't stay long where you don't belong. And that's going to resonate with people in different ways. So take it how it resonates. However, how I got that was in 2 ways. And the first part is most definitely like in your emotions. So what I mean by don't stay long where you don't belong in reference to your emotions is that there is going to be a lot of emotional triggers that's going to be coming up at this time. And it is for you to use your emotional intelligence to learn the lessons and allow yourself to continue to move forward, right? So be present with what it is that you are feeling. Be present with your emotions and allow yourself to truly honor what it is that you're feeling. Give thanks for your sorrow. Give thanks for your resentment. Give thanks for your anger. Give thanks for your unworthiness, whatever it is that you feel, right? Give thanks to that. And then allow yourself to breathe through that emotion and transmute it with the actual truth of who you are. Because if you stay too long in that emotion, you're staying too long where you don't belong. That's where that saying is in regards to the emotional content and staying too long where you don't belong. You want to honor what it is that you are feeling and get to the root of it. And that is going to have to take your logics, because in the present moment, you can logically make sense of it. However, you have to really, truly, deeply feel it. You have to truly, really, deeply be in that emotion so that you can learn what is the root of that. Because all the other triggers, the other things, those other things that have triggered you to get back to that space is getting you back to a space where you don't belong, right? You want to move past that. You want to move in a different way of living. And sometimes we're like, oh, but I grew up that way, or I have a trauma from that and this, that, whatever the story is, your brain, when you start to reminisce on that, or you start to feel those emotions, it's going to feel it as if it's in that present moment. It does not know the difference between past, present, and future. And because there's a lot of opportunities that's ahead that's going to be benefiting your highest good, it's gonna be important not to dwell too long in those emotions, but definitely allow yourself to be in the emotion and learn the lesson. And so when you learn the lesson, those other triggers that you experience on a daily, monthly, weekly, whatever type of time frame it is, like, it may have been a trigger, something that the emotion, right? Maybe I'm gonna use an example. Somebody may be experiencing the feeling of abandonment, right? Or neglect, right? Feeling neglected, feeling like, and the neglection could come from abandonment, right? But not necessarily. There are two different things, right? They're very similar, but they are different. That's why they're different words. So a person could be had an experience where they were neglected as a child. And, throughout their journey and growing up, it may be that neglect has taught them to people please as they got older. And in people pleasing, they said, well, if I learn how to make everybody happy, then nobody's going to neglect me, or they'll deem me worthy. They'll deem me worthy of attention, or they'll deem me worthy or whatever. Always feeling like you have something to prove. Always feeling like you have to do something. Now, of course, it could work the other way around too, where like you just be like, well, the world, right? Lil Wayne, I'ma pick the world up and I'ma drop it on your fucking head. Yeah, I think that's the lyrics. That's what popped up in my head. Right? However it resonates with you, right? And so now you put yourself in a space where a lot of people, they love you and they give you this attention and everything is all good. But every once in a while, you just get these flashes of feeling alone, feeling misunderstood, feeling like the people that you truly want around you can't truly see you, or they aren't there for you when you need them. Right? You're always there for them when they need you, but who's there for you when you need them, right? And then these emotions come up. And it could be as simple as, maybe everybody that is in your cipher, your circle of friends, or your circle of communication, maybe they're just busy in that moment, and you're having a moment where you're wanting attention. You didn't get the trigger yet. You're just chilling, going about your day. Maybe you're driving or you're shopping or something, and you're like, oh, you know what? I'm feeling good. Let me call such and such or whatever. And you call such and such and they don't pick up the phone. And then you call somebody else and they don't pick up the phone, or you're hitting, and all of a sudden you start getting triggered. You know what I mean? And in that trigger, that's where you're staying way too long, where you don't belong, but you need to go there. You need to go there. So you go. And that's when you're not triggered because in that present moment, nobody's really there, right? You was just in a good space. You're triggered because your inner child needs some healing. Your inner child is remembering an aspect that you have not given yourself attention to. So not only did you feel neglected from your upbringing, right? And you're feeling neglected in this present moment from everybody living their own best life, right? And like you feeling this sense of like urgency for attention, and you're looking externally for this attention, but your inner child is feeling neglected from you, from your adult self. Like you have the opportunity to parent your inner child in ways that that you wanted your parents or whoever neglected you to treat you, right? And that's who really wants the attention is that inner child, that, you know. And so if you allow yourself to sit with those emotions and find the root of it, and you realize like, wait a minute, this is not actually coming from my friends, this is coming from me, this is coming from my childhood, this is coming from this, maybe then you'll be able to say, well, you know what, maybe it's time that I don't people please anymore, because I've been staying way too long in the emotions of neglect subconsciously, that I've been consciously choosing to people please for subconscious attention, right? It's like they work together. One can't work without the other, right? And you're still not getting the results of what it is that you truly want. So you stood way too long where you don't belong, because in all actuality, those actions, those behaviors that you were doing are going to continue to send you those trigger points until you truly move forward. From that, you have to truly analyze and look at what it is that your emotions are feeling. And a lot of the times we want to give validations to our emotions, like, oh, I'm a good person. Okay. Or I have a good heart. A lot of the times we don't even say I have a good heart. Okay, your heart is functioning well. That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. So if your heart is so good and it's so pure, light as a feather, why are you holding on to some resentment? Why are you holding on to abandonment issues? Why are you feeling triggered when nobody's picking up the phone for you? Because if your heart was coming from a pure place of intentions, those emotions wouldn't even have to come up. Those triggers wouldn't even have to come up. It was about awareness and our blind spot. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the times we want to talk about being good people, and a lot of those times you're being a good person with hidden agendas, and you are subconsciously having that hidden agenda because you're not even aware of the intention of where it's coming from. And let's just keep it real. Let's just keep it real, because that's the only way you're going to move forward. Because when you're not keeping it real with yourself, that's when you're staying way too long where you don't belong. Way too long where you don't belong. Maybe it's not people pleasing, right? But you sit there and you're like, oh, I hate the world, or I can't stand people, or this is why I don't even go out. I know one thing I'm going to say for me is that I get sensitive. And when I'm so sensitive, I sit there and I act like I can't even go to the store. Like sometimes like, nah, I ain't even trying to go to the store at this time right now. I'm too sensitive. I ain't even trying to feel people's energy, right? Staying in a fucking thought form Like, I'm allowing my thought form to have more control over me than I am allowing my highest self to be empowered. Staying way too long where I don't belong in the spirit of doubt. In the spirit of feeling like that subconsciously, right? Because I'm always consciously, I'm protected, I'm good, I'm strong, like I'm forever protected. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit gets dismantled, and anything else that is still built gets backfires and returns back to sender time, all that shit, right? But then go to the store and like today, for example, perfect example. I'm so sensitive. I'd be like, I don't like to go shopping at a certain time. Like, if I have to go to the supermarket or something and it's a certain time of the day, I prefer not to. Because I don't be trying to be deal with people, right? Yet, here I am dealing with people, right? And if anything, if my excuse is that I'm so sensitive and that I can feel their energy, but I'm online feeling everybody's energy because they're not even directly in front of me, but yet I'm still so sensitive to energy, right? It's not that I'm sensitive to the energy that's the problem. It's the thought form that's the problem. So I had an appointment today. I'm at the appointment. Old dude coming like a op, straight up. I was able to identify that shit, and I was like, I'ma just stay in my divine light, because had it been any other time, I'd have been like, oh, these people are so negative, or these people, I'm so sensitive, I could feel them, they getting me aggy, I'm getting frustrated, like my nerves, like I'm having a breathe. No. I was sitting in that room, this one dude, you could see the misery and everybody in the room, like they were so miserable. And I was just like, I started laughing, and I was like laughing in my head to myself. And I was like, another time I would have been like, Angelic, it's time to go. You staying too long where you don't belong, right? We too sensitive for that shit. But my higher self was like, hey, yo, G, shine that light. Let's purify this bitch over here right now, because this room is a little bit too dim. It's too low. And my sensitivity allowed myself to be my power in that moment, because I truly tapped into my highest self's voice. And so instead of me having to leave or run away, I was able to transmute that energy and allow myself to truly thrive. And not only was it that I was thriving, but it started to shift the energy in the room. Everybody that was complaining about pain, if they was still complaining, they was doing that shit in their mind. You know what I'm saying? Because their complaints was staying too long where it didn't belong, and that shit was around me. And because it was around me, it couldn't stay. It had to go. If I had to stay here, if I gotta be in this appointment and I gotta be in this space, instead of me being in the thought form that, oh, I'm too sensitive, I can't deal with their energy, and this, that, and the third, I was like, no, you know what? That attitude, that misery, that low infliction, whatever, that self-infliction, that shit is staying too long where it don't belong. It don't got no access to me. That shit gonna have to fucking burn and purify. That shit is getting cut with a fucking fiery flaming sword. You know what I'm saying? That's it. And I stood in my center. I stood in my peace. But I was able to identify that I once had that saying where I would be like, oh, I'm too sensitive, I can't be around this. And I had to sit with that. So I'm bringing up this story because there's going to be this energy going around where you're going to have to be sitting with some emotions that are going to leave you uncomfortable for you to transmute so that you can put yourself in a different situation in life. Because there's a lot of, like, this is preparation mode. This is go time. There's a lot of things that's coming ahead. And yeah, a lot of doors that's opening for a lot of y'all in the collective that y'all don't even see coming. But before those doors even open, y'all gonna be feeling the sting. Y'all gonna be feeling your inner child speaking. And you're gonna have to sit with that. But don't get so caught up with that. Just because you aren't receiving the validation that your ego wants to receive. Love is unconditional. But love breaks all spells and is of the highest vibration. Why? Because it is true. And a lot of the times, people rather be in the lie and the spell of things so that they can be comfortable in their own cycles. And right now, them cycles is break up. The poles are shifting. The times is changing. The energies is moving in so many different ways that other shit is gonna be exposed, and you're gonna have to like, it's not bring an ego death to you, but it's G-checking even your own self. It's G-checking even your own ego to be like, yo, like this right now, like I understand where you coming from. And granted, it could happen overnight or it could happen. It's going to take some time for some people. But if it's taking you time, I know I'm a person that things tend to take time for me, right? Hola. If it's going to take time, make sure that you are utilizing your time properly. Where you're saying, you know what? I could admit that I have some attachments in this area in my life that I gotta work on. And I have to know how to deal with that. And I may not know right now, but I am open and willing to receiving the solutions because the solutions are in me and I allow them the space. With every breath that I take, I allow the space for the solutions to come up. With every exhale and every inhale, the solutions continue to get bigger and brighter and present themselves to my consciousness so that I can move forward. Because living in that old story is only living in a cycle. And you staying way too long where you don't belong. Way too long. Because your emotions were validated by a friend that probably was a trauma bond. Oh, girl, I know exactly what you was going through. I was going through that too. Or I've been through that and this, that, and the third. And no, you know what? But is your friend healed or are they bitter? Because now we got two negative Nancys one is Nancy, the other one's Karen. Yo, what's going on? What the fuck? Nancy and Karen, let's have a sit down. We're going to have to drink some tea. Give me a moment. Hold up. Mind your blood pressure right now because, Santa Muerte, we're going to have to do some work over here. Hold on for a moment. We're going to have to kill some illusions over here. And there's some fear that's present. And, yo, Nancy over here, she's not even acting like Nancy from The Craft, okay? Like, she's acting like a whole other different Nancy. She's from Elm Street. Okay, she got some nightmares that she hasn't really dealt with, and she want to keep picking up a phone and dealing with Freddy Krueger. Like, She enjoys that shit. She's a fucking masochist, and she's over here validating Karen for being a fucking ass. Because Karen knows that Karen needs to do something else different. But no, Karen just want to dwell. Karen just want to dwell in that negative shit. So here comes negative Nancy. Like, yo, Karen, do it. Call police. Do it. Listen. I ain't telling nobody not to call the police if they have to call the police. I don't know your situation, but some of y'all probably just calling the cops on y'all man that y'all been arguing with 2-3 times a week, and then y'all still gonna keep him in the house. Y'all don't even know how many times I be having to like clear my energy because it be in my environment. I see it all the time. Sitting there arguing with their man, let them back in the house after they done call the cops. And then you and Nancy, Karen and Nancy just talking shit on the phone about this nigga. This nigga this nigga that. Oh girl, but you know I love him. Or you know I can't. Whatever the excuse is for the abuse. Now you sitting there calling this nigga abusive. You calling him a narcissistic ass being. And your ass just as abusive. Like, you're abusing yourself. Okay? You're abusing the system. And you're abusing him. So, y'all are two abusive ass people that are staying way too long where y'all don't belong. And now y'all brought it into a third-party situation because they may or may not have been cheating. But guess what? Nancy was all up in that bitch. Validating that shit. Validating that shit. But Nancy, your best friend. Y'all don't know who's Karen and Nancy up in here because I wasn't even planning on talking about no Nancy or Karen. But yo, even if that's not your name, if the shoe fits, man, I think it's time to get rid of those old shoes and bury them bitches if you have to. Bury them, burn them, toss them somewhere, and give yourself a foot massage. And while you're giving yourself a foot massage, really speak into your life what it is that you want to bring in your path, because there's a lot of opportunities that's going to be presenting itself moving forward to a lot of y'all, to a lot of us in the collective. And it's going to test your emotional intelligence. And if you are not emotionally prepared to deal with the test, trust and believe. The universe is documenting this. And the poles are going to shift in a way that is going to be a little bit harder for you. And we don't want that because it's going to be a hard time for quite a few people in the collective right now. And you know your story more than I do. So I don't know. That was just something that I was picking up. If that negative energy is something that you've been dealing with, I'm seeing red jasper. I'm seeing clear as day obsidian. Maybe working with obsidian. And let me tell you, whoever chooses to work with that obsidian, if that's you, because I see it. Obsidian is what I see the most. I got goosebumps all over. I'm hot and cold. Don't mind me, y'all. If y'all see me getting cold or hot, it just is what it is. Brace yourself. Brace yourself. It's going to be a beautiful transformation. It is. I will highly recommend doing a lot of journaling because a lot is going to come up for you. And there's going to be things that you've been blaming other people for that's really your own demise. And you're going to have to take a look at that because sometimes the negative person in the room is you. I don't know whose message this is, but sometimes the negative energy in the room is you. I don't feel like that's for everybody. I feel like that's very specific. Maybe not the whole story, but you know what's going on in your situation, and sometimes it's like everyone around you is just trying to help find a way, or even just trying to mind their business. So as far as with the like neglect, because I feel like I know I went into neglect, and then I went into so many different I went into different places, so like just bear with me, y'all, right? The person that's feeling abandonment and neglect, I can totally resonate with you. I understand. I also deal with my own emotions as far as like, always being sure that I honor myself and that I tell myself I am worthy and allow my confidence to be in that space. And I truly, honestly, I truly love myself, right? And so, but I know what it is to feel that way because I've been there, and so again, there's gonna be like these tests, right? These tests is to see how much, if you truly learned the lesson. And so my biggest advice when it comes down to that, especially if it has anything to do with your parents or something like that, is parent yourself. Take the time to parent your inner child, parent yourself right now. You need to give yourself the attention right now. It's not any attention outside of you is not really going to heal the problem. It's only going to put a band-aid over it, and it's going to leave scar tissue. It's going to leave scar tissue, and that scar tissue is not something that's going to really allow for the energetic flow to flow the way that it needs to. Right? So, really look at what it is that you love about yourself as well. Really look at, are you doing things to make other people happy, or are you truly doing things because it's really what is pure in your heart? Pure in your heart. Because I've been that person where I've done so much good for other people, and it's like, damn, man, like, I'm always looking out for y'all and this, that, and the third. And let me tell you, even earlier today, I felt like I was like, damn, like, yo, I had to get to a point where I was like, no, because if I'm going to be getting resentful or get, aquí no, en este cuerpo no, in this body no, I'm not going to let that vibe stay in here. Hell no. Hell no. Because if I did something, I did it with my heart. I did it with love, and not to sit there and be like, oh, but they don't even appreciate it. They don't. So what? If they don't see it or they don't appreciate it, so fucking what? If you really did it from a pure place in your heart, it doesn't matter how they receive it. It shouldn't matter. It should not matter. So when it does start to matter, when it does start to bother, then you really got to ask yourself, are you really surrounding yourself with the people that you want to surround yourself with? Are you really reciprocating the energy that you want to reciprocate? And that is even with your own company. Your own company. Are you the person that you want to be around? Are you the person you want to be surrounded with? Are you the person that, are you reciprocating your own energy? Well, because if you don't love yourself when you alone, how can you truly love yourself when other people's around? That shit is fake. That shit is temporary validation for that moment. And then a lot of the times we be like, oh yeah, I forgave such and such, or I'm over that situation. I'm good. I moved on. Like, all right. But then here comes a trigger for something that don't even look nothing like it. that has everything to do with that situation. So journals out this weekend. I'm going to recommend that everybody at least take a time a day to really sit with yourselves and reflect. As I said that, right? So collective energy in general. Here we have, what is this? The page, yes, the Page of Swords here. And this is talking about really being honest with yourself, really taking that deep reflection and honing who you are, right? It's going to be times when you are going to grieve yourself, but it's better to grieve and let go than to get into a space of depression and anxiety and triggers, because you're exhausting your own energies and you're becoming tired because you haven't allowed yourself the deep reflection. This is messages that's going to be coming in both externally and internally that is for you to reflect upon. This is going to be a lot of downloads. I feel like for those of you that take the time to meditate during this weekend, you are going to come across your oh, yes. Okay, so I think Chiron, there's something going on with Chiron right now. So it might be like inner child wounds, or it could be any type of wounds that's going to be coming around, for you to reflect upon. And this is going to be a perfect time for you to do healing work when it comes down to that, so that you don't have to repeat these cycles. So listen to your dream work. Oh, yes, that's what. Okay, I'm sorry. So the Chiron thing. So some of y'all are going to get so deep in your meditations that you're going to bring revelations to your life purpose in the form of downloads in reflection to the pain or sorrows of your wounded warrior energy. Okay? This is gonna be like a self-initiation type of thing. So I'm not sure if it's that you're gonna be completely alone in the room, or if your spirit is asking you to be completely alone in the room. And this is going to bring a lot of transformation and transcendence. This is going to bring liberation once you allow yourself to become aware. But this is for you to deal with this on your own, because this is part of your soul's journey, part of your life's purpose. And it has everything to do with self and nothing to do with the external world around you. And so it's a sense of responsibility for that, because from the page you turn into the night, and it's gonna be definitely forward movement here. Oh wow, I didn't even see that. So yeah, there's even a snake here. I'm not sure if y'all see the snake, but definitely transformation coming. And is that a skull? No, I thought I saw a skull for a moment. But nonetheless, definitely a time that you're going to be standing in your power through this revelation. It's not going to make you weaker. It's going to make you stronger. It's going to make you sad, possibly for the moment. And write it down. For some of you, I'm even getting that you might even get flashbacks of when you was back in your mother's womb, like when you was a baby, or even coming in. Not sure for who's this. This could be deep Akashic records, memories coming through, or even past life stuff, but it doesn't feel, oh, okay. So for somebody, I'm getting, well, I just got goosebumps all over. For somebody, if it is a past, so you might experience like a past life revelation. And then through that past life revelation, you're also going to be remembering yourself from like that space and time, transcending into this lifetime. Like you're like, I'm not sure if I'm making sense, but like the past life, and I guess your transition from that past life, which is also this life, because time is always now, right? So it's like, I guess, I'm not sure how to explain it, but it is going to make sense to you. If this is your story, you're going to know exactly who you are. I would love to hear from you if you have this experience, if you feel like sharing, but it's personal and it's your business, so you don't have to. But I'm seeing like you having your life, your past life, and you're transitioning from that past life, and you're in spirit. You're like in the spirit realm, or even more than the spirit realm, though, not just the etheric realm, like in your multi-dimensional being. And in that, like, you're gonna have remembrance of that, but then you're gonna also like morph and have the remembrance of like going into like your mom's womb, and like having the womb experience, and like having like an Akashic record download. Ooh. And then through that download, you're gonna have better revelation or understanding of the wounded warrior aspect in you, because it's rooted from that past life, but you carried it over to this lifetime, and it's for you to really clear, so that you can continue to move ahead. So that clearance energy is part of your life, like your life purpose in this lifetime as well. And that's on your personal journey. That doesn't have anything to do with anybody else, although it may seem like that. And that's where like honoring the triggers and the emotions, and really like, but again, not staying too long where you don't belong, because even that past life energy wants to truly transcend on a soul level. Like your highest self knows that you're perfect, and knows the answers of that, but like your consciousness in that realm and this realm are experiencing the same lesson. And so even though that's like a past life, it's almost as if it's like another life that is you that's still experiencing it. Not sure if that makes sense, but that's kind of what I'm getting from this. So very deep, very interesting. Somebody's gonna get really deep, or maybe a few of you, who knows? I don't know your story, but definitely take time to sit with this energy. So this is the Page of Swords. Messages coming in. Allow yourself to journal, to document. And for some of you, once you receive that, or maybe for all of you, once you receive like those revelations and like the emotional test, and moving forward, definitely take the time to really organize like a certain aspect of your goals. Hola, that's my beautiful sister. Don't go following her though, so I'm not gonna shout out her name, because y'all all need to mind y'all business. Anyways, but yeah, and by the way, definitely watch the beginning, because it's going to be important if you're just tuning in to watch the replay. But anyways, yeah, so once you receive those revelations and you go through like what it is that you had to like move through energetically, and like reflect upon, when you know like what is it that is that you're wounded from, where is it that you're hurting, is it mentally, is it emotionally, is it physically, right? Then writing down a plan of action. There we go. Writing down a plan of action, so that you can truly allow yourself to move forward, and not allow the distractions to detour you from your plan, because you will have it in writing. You will have it in writing, and maybe put it in a space where, maybe put it in front of your mirror where you have to look at every day, or something like that. But put it in a way where you do one step at a time, and this is towards your healing. And even do words of affirmation claiming, I am the medicine. I am healed. I am the medicine. I am healed. And not just saying it out loud, but believing it and feeling it in all your organs, feeling it in your bloodstream, feeling it in your hearts, feeling it in your reproductive system. So that way all your cells are reproducing this to each other. They're communicating this to each other. All your nadis, all your being is truly in remembrance, and every part of you is reflecting this. And so everything externally from you becomes a mirror, a reflection of how much you are the healer, of how much you are you have the ability to heal, right? So as they're reminding you that you have the ability to heal, you tell yourself that I am healed. But don't be so naive to not do the work. Remember, you're writing it down, but it's to take the course of action. So you want to do, because look at her. She's got, like she has one foot on, let's just say that's like her demon or whatever. I don't even know what that is. It's like a rock or something, right? And then the other foot there, like that's almost like a victorious stance that she has, even though her face is a little bit sad. She's looking down, but she has butterflies all around her that scream about the victory. And she's holding the sword of truth like a warrior, because she's like, yes, I was wounded. Yes, I've been hurt. Yes, this has been taking so much of my energy. Yes, this has been, but I'm still standing strong and I'm still holding the sword. A matter of fact, if this was the sword in the stone, she's able to take the sword out of the stone. And she's going to do it gracefully. She's just taking her time doing so. She's taking her destiny in her hands. Regardless of what the message is, it could be that maybe some of y'all are going to receive or have received messages that is invalidating that you're the healer, that is invalidating your toxic behavior, and it's giving you the opposite message. Maybe it's messages that you don't want to hear, that's making you a little bit sad, that's making you a little bit down. But in that, you got now is those messages though may have brought you revelations to where you truly are in your journey, and now you can take the initiative to really move in accordance with the message that you have received. So this is the general overall collective message, y'all. Woo! Give me a moment, because I'm sweaty. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? All right, so I'm going to get into the different zodiac signs right now. So bear with me, because I'm not sure if I'm going to... I do feel like... actually, before I move on, I am feeling... So I'm going to go with what I'm feeling. I told y'all to bear with me. So for somebody, I said it was obsidian. For somebody, I said red jasper. But I'm also feeling for somebody the Kaboba jasper.